Mario Lanza left us with 4 versions of Sigmund Romberg's glorious Serenade from the Student Prince, all of them quite different from each other and spanning most of his professional post-army career. They comprise a live radio performance from February 1946, a rendition recorded in May 1952 for his then weekly radio show, his MGM soundtrack recording from July of that same year, and a final version made for RCA in April 1959, just 6 months before his sudden death. Of the 4 renditions, I think that most Lanza aficionados would agree that the tenor's 1952 radio version is by far his least satisfying. Inexplicably rushed by conductor Ray Sinatra, it's almost a minute shorter than the MGM version, and the galloping tempo never allows Lanza to show what he can do with the song, either vocally or interpretively.
Dreaming, could my heart but still its beating, only you can tell it all, beloved. From your window give me greeting, hear my eternal vow.
A very different, though somewhat polarizing rendition is Lanza's April 1959 recording. RCA's fondness for adding reverb to many of the tenor's final recordings, almost all of which suffer from poor sound engineering in the first place, applies to this rendition too, and almost ruins the commercial reproduction. On top of that, Lanza was unwell at the time, and may have even suffered a minor heart attack that same month. The heaviness of his voice here understandably reflects those health problems, but when it comes to the actual singing, this is still an undeniably impressive rendition. The voice may be very dark. In fact, its conductor, Paul Barron, once claimed to me rather preposterously that Lanza was really a baritone, but the notes are all there, including a thrilling final high B flat. Akin to a stage performance, this is a deeply dramatic, some would say almost primal rendition that would bring down the house in a live setting.
Could my heart but still its beating, only you can tell it all, beloved. From your window give me greeting, hear my eternal vow.
Its best reproductions can be heard on 2 Sepia Records CDs, one of them a remastered version of the commercial reel-to-reel tape issued in 1960, and the other a raw, visceral studio acetate that predates RCA's unleashing of its reverb machine.
I hear my eternal vow.
Now let's go back 13 years to Lanza's first recorded performance of the Serenade. This was a live radio broadcast of highlights from the Student Prince and was performed at New York City's Liederkranz Hall in February 1946 as part of CBS's Great Moments in Music series. While it was probably not the first time that the then 25-year-old tenor had sung the Serenade, it was certainly the largest audience for which he had ever performed the difficult aria-like song. And this occasion was especially challenging, as Lanza would be performing the Serenade in its original key of F major, as opposed to the by then standard key of E flat. Although the tenor chose not to take the optional high Cs at the end on this performance, opting instead for 2 high As, he did take the C on the duet Deep in My Heart Dear during the same broadcast. In any event, no one could ever accuse him of shirking on the Serenade, which, thanks to the higher than usual key, meant that he would be tackling no fewer than 6 high A's and 4 high B flats. Daunting stuff indeed for a young singer who had not yet undertaken any sustained voice study. That would start the following month with the legendary voice teacher Enrico Rosati and would last until mid-1947. But what's truly remarkable here is just how assured Lanza's singing already is. The luscious lirico spinto voice is perfectly placed with a seamlessness from top to bottom, while the tenor's line is beautifully even throughout, and his trademark diction and phrasing are both exemplary. Let's now listen to part of that 1946 performance, superbly remastered and in stereo for the first time on Sepia Records' just-released CD, Mario Lanza, the Definitive Student Prince.
Soft in the trees sighs the echo of my longing, while all around you my dreams of rapture throng. Visions glowing around me throng. My soul, my joy, my hope, my dear, your heart must tell you that I am near. Lean from above while I pour out my love, for you know to my life you are love. Oh, hear my longing cry. Oh, let me ere I die. The moon is beaming, white as blossoms on the bough. Nothing is heard but the song of a bird, filling all the air with dreaming. Would my heart but still it's beating, only you can tell it all, beloved. From your window give me greeting. I swear
Listening to that performance, it's little wonder that the young tenor was already being pursued by the Metropolitan Opera. While it would be another 2 years before Lanza felt ready to make his professional operatic debut, as Pinkerton in Puccini's Madama Butterfly for the New Orleans Opera, that early serenade makes it clear that even at just 25, he was already a vocal force to be reckoned with. While the 1946 version, like the 1959 recording, is akin to a stage performance and is essentially operatic in delivery, the MGM rendition is a decidedly more intimate affair, as one might expect to hear in a romantic film. This version also replaces most of Dorothy Donnelly's original lyrics with less melodramatic ones by Paul Francis Webster that reflect the many changes made in the film's excellent screenplay. Superbly arranged by the brilliant orchestrator Maurice Depac, and now available remixed in stereo to stunning effect on the Definitive Student Prince CD, the MGM Serenade is also one of Lanza's greatest recordings. And for many people, myself included, it served as their spellbinding introduction to the tenor. One of those people is the legendary rock vocalist Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin fame. Appearing on the BBC's Desert Island Discs in 2022, Plant startled his fans by declaring Lanza's MGM rendition of the Serenade his favourite recording, and the first piece of singing by anyone to have given him goosebumps. When asked which single recording of his 8 desert island choices he would save from the hypothetical waves, he replied,
"Well, Mario Lanza, definitely. Because it's so evocative and it carries so much presence and beauty, and it just lifts to crescendos that are
I hear your voice in the wind that stirs the willows. I see your face in the stars that shine above. Hold me closer tonight, we love. The willows bending, the stars that shine, the shorelights blending, they're yours and mine. Drifting along in my heart, there's a song, and the song in my heart will not fade. Oh, hear my serenade, my moonlight serenade.
Plant's opinion of the MGM Serenade has been echoed by leading opera singers, vocal coaches, and music critics alike. And for good reason, as it's a masterpiece of vocal control and poetic phrasing, featuring a preternaturally beautiful tenor voice that's resplendent throughout the song's 2-octave range. But even more than that, it conjures up a romantic dream world that only Maria Lanza could have evoked.
Could this beauty last forever? I would ask for nothing more.